We always have to do this double check to see if it's going live on our YouTube channel, and it is. We have it. We have it going on. Welcome, everybody. We have with us, this is our final hour of the Kickstarter for Harrow County, and we have with us the Skinless Boy has made an appearance. Care of Shad Miller. He's all grown up, the Skinless Boy. Which is a bit of a deviation from the story of Harrow County.
The Harrow County audiobooks, they're excellent.
That's awesome. And disgusting. Awesome and disgusting. Now we're going to look at that for the next hour.
I don't know if I can wear this for. Hold on. I can't.
Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. So we have Tyler Crook, the artist, not only for the all the art of this board game, like 100% of the art of this board game, but also the art for the Harrow County comic book series as well. And would you say you're co-creator? Would you say that of Harrow County? Is that true?
Yeah.
Fair? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like a writer writes a story, but a writer and an artist are a pair. Like it's not just the writer creates; it's like together. Like
yeah.
Especially
with comics, I think the artist is like really a co-author. Because there's a lot of the storytelling that comes from the artist rather than just the writer.
Yeah, it depends. That's interesting. We should have asked that to Cullen. He couldn't. He might stop in, he said, but I don't think he's going to make it tonight. But curious question about that. Because every writer works differently on how they write, and I assume you've worked with a ton of different writers now. What's your favorite way that writers give you their scripts? Like, how much information do you like it very loose so you get to have fun and do whatever you want? Or do you like actually tell me how many panels it is? Like, how detailed do you like it?
Well, I think every script I've ever worked on, well, with a few exceptions, has broken it down to at least the panel level. It's been like, panel 1, they do this, panel 2, they do this, panel 3, they do this. I'm not a huge fan of there have been a few times when I've had to work particularly with writers who weren't professional comic book writers, but were more like, novelists or whatever. And they would write sort of an outline for the page, and I would have to break down the actions into the panels and stuff. And I'm not that big of a fan of doing that, just because it makes so much more work for the artist, for me.
Gotcha.
I end up having to do a lot of the actual writing part of that.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Interesting.
But I think Cullen is really great. He's one of my favorite writers to work with for sure, because he's
A, he might be watching, and B,
well, he gives me just enough to work off of to really sort of springboard and do a lot of stuff. But he's never and he really seems to have a lot of trust in me to do what I think is right. And a really great example. And one of my favorite things I ever did in Harrow County is there's that scene where Emmy is doing the wash and she hangs up the Skinless Boy's skin.
Yeah.
And the Skinless Boy, the boy comes over and he's hanging out next to his skin. And Cullen wrote all that out, that she's doing the wash and she washes the skin and everything. And I got to add the detail where the skin reaches up and holds his own hand.
Oh.
I was that was
great.
What are these two doing together? And I got to add that a little bit. And so that's sort of the stuff that I bring to the storytelling as we go along.
I love it. And we also have with us Joe McNamara. Joe, why don't you tell everybody what your role is here with Off the Page Games, and also, because I love it, how you became this person with Off the Page Games.
Sure. So what I do here, I'm the customer solutions manager. So if you ever email help@, that'll be me. Obviously, I tallied all the votes and the puzzle posts and everything, participated on the comments and whatnot. So as well as helping to playtest for the past year. So that's what I was kind of doing, off of the mind management campaign. So helping to playtest Harrow County, and Jay offered me a job. So
you were already doing the job.
Very grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. He was basically already doing the job, and I got to this point in my business where I'm like, man, it's hard keeping up with all of the customer interactions of hey, I'm missing this piece. Hey, my address has changed, and it's a lot to manage all of that and try to, make a board game and run a Kickstarter campaign. It's just a lot. I'm like, I got to find somebody. And immediately I'm like, I wonder if Joe would be interested, because he's kind of doing a lot of it already. He would, for Mind Management, the second Kickstarter, he was already like responding to people's comments already. Like, yeah, Jay said that in update 3, blah, blah, blah. It was like, oh, so I'm fortunate that it was right up Joe's alley as well. So that's great. Oh, we also have Sebastian. Sebastian,
hey.
welcome to the Skinless Boy party.
I know, I feel kind of.
So we'll get to you in a second, Sebastian. So Shad, tell us a bit about, I guess, how we met and how we came to even design this game.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I met Jay because I made a game. I switched careers into game design. In 2013, I think. And then I met Jay. He was actually mentoring a class I was in, and I made this game. And he told me it was a really cool idea, and he really liked the toy that I'd made. And he was like, "But you got to stop trying to teach people calculus." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then we went through and we brainstormed, and it was just super fun doing that with him. And he goes, "Hey, I think this is really good. You should pitch it to people." I said, "Well, I can't pitch this without you. I'm not going to like take your idea and just, pitch it as mine or whatever." And we had made the idea together, and which I think is a really cool thing about that I love about working with Jay is like, I have no idea who made which pieces, you know what I mean? Like part of that's just a memory problem. But anyway, so that's how I met Jay. And then I waited until I graduated. And I said, "Hey, Jay, you want to make this game?" And he said, "Yeah." And I came over and we started making that game. That one actually got signed, and then the publisher like disappeared.
Yeah.
Then we made another game. Then we started. So Skirmishes was the first title for the game that became Harrow County. It's so different. It's funny to even remember that as an origin. And I remember sending him a text while I was living in Switzerland, working as a game designer and technical artist and all this other stuff, writing and stuff. And I sent Jay a text, said, "Hey, I'm out castle hunting. What are you doing?" And he goes, "Castle hunting?" And we were like, "That's a good idea for a game." And we thought it was going to be castle hunting. But we just
that's how it started. You're right.
Yeah, we kept making the game more fun. And eventually we got to Skirmishes, and then we met Cullen and Tyler, and we were super inspired from meeting them. And the whole game changed. And, I think it really made all the design choices so much clearer. And then also just, it was so fun. The process I actually thought when I got into games that I was going to be a game writer, and I do that. I have done that. But I love coding. I love the technical aspects of design and things like that. So Jay and I have been designing this game forever, and it's been amazing. And when we got in, it actually felt like a rocket ship when we got in with Cullen and Tyler, how much it made more sense and things started to fit together. And I found that really great because I had kind of tried to white box everything, and I still do that, but now I feel much more comfortable integrating narrative, which I love, and I work as the narrative systems designer.
That's right.
So anyway, Jay and I work together. I mean, it's been really funny because when I lived in Vancouver, I would go over, I don't know, once a month, once a week, we would be working on something. And then I lost all my skin and moved around. I could talk to him through the skin, and we just came up with games that way, and it was great.
It's so creepy that your lips are not moving for the entire point of this.
I can't breathe.
I assume your voice is coming out of some sort of nearby satchel.
This is the
Okay, good.
boy.
Good.
Hey, let's design more games.
That's wonderful.
I want more Harrow County games. How many more can we make? We've got
That's wonderful. And then we have Sebastian Kozner. Now, for prefacing this, the graphic designer of this game was Alexandra Billick, and she did all the graphic design, laid it all out, and then I literally was like at a point where it's like, man, I got a lot of projects now coming up. I need more graphic design work, and literally Sebastian posted not an ad, just like a post in a in a Facebook group that I was in. I'm not sure. He's just like, hey, my contract is done with this other publisher, and I'm looking for work. And so I'm like, oh, interesting. And so I like, you know, go to Board Game Geek and check out his, and he's done like 40 games. And I'm like, and they're all like, I'm like, oh. And I'm like, and I contacted him right away. I'm like, hey, you want to work with me? And so we started off part-time for a couple months. And then in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, we upped it to full-time because this campaign has been a monster. We've been on it. So Sebastian, tell us a little bit about yourself and your, where you come from, your background, and maybe a little bit about what you've contributed to this game, because it's been a lot. So I don't want to take anything away from Alexandra and her work at all, because she did all of it, and then Sebastian had to come in and kind of adapt to her style that she implemented, and I think it's worked wonderfully. But yeah, go for it. Tell us who you are and what you've done.
Well, first, sorry for my broken English. I'm from Argentina, so not a native speaker, but I'm been doing graphic design for board games for the past 5-6 years, something like that.
And you have like what, 30 or 40 games already?
Around? No, there are over 50.
50, yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. I did all my work in graphic design was doing Kickstarter, helping the small games coming out. So.
And you're saying the best game you've ever worked on is Harrow County? Unbelievable. Wow. Oh, did I just put that in your mouth? Sorry.
It's definitely one of the most interesting ones.
Sure.
What I've been doing with the game is, as I think all backers noted, how much Shay is looking at stuff and fixing every little detail. So we've been doing that for the past month. Improving any icon. If an icon wasn't clear, then talk about it, have a call about how to do it better. So most of the style of the original game is from the other designer, but what I did is help polish every detail, polish the rule book, and doing the Kickstarter campaign.
And you did all of the Fairfolk. That was all you too. The Fairfolk was you.
Yeah.
I mean, you still had to adapt, like the card style, for example. You adapted the current card style from Alexandra to make sure it felt like it was still part of the same universe, same game.
Yeah, so the credit for how good the game looks is for Alexandra, but all the details are on me.
Yeah.
That's a fair one. Yeah.
That's right.
You did a lot of extrapolation. Didn't you do the whole solo board too?
Yep. You did all the solo board, and all the Kickstarter imagery, like all of it, was all him. So, which has been changed a number of times.
Up to an hour ago.
Yeah, exactly. So where are we at? We're at 219. We're less than $700 away from the Storm printing.
Oh,
so if we get, this is the comments. If we get to if we get to 220,000 US dollars, we get this nice cool printing on the storms as opposed to just instead of just the kind of white.
I know, I've been looking forward to that one.
Otherwise they just kind of look like that. But I think we'll get there because we still have 45 minutes to go. So we're doing a live stream here. We're also able and open to taking questions or whatever. Or if you want to just shower us with praise, we're also accepting of that.
I think Jack is doing that on the YouTube comments.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
Marvelous, magnificent, mad. What an all-star team.
Oh. That's so nice. I love our community.
Yeah, it's great. Well, it's been super wonderful. I've been fortunate with my management and then with this campaign with Harrow County to have just really awesome, engaged, and I don't know, positive, happy backers. Like I've seen some other campaigns where some backers can get very I don't know, I don't want to say it, just negative. Like very negative or whatever, complaining. And maybe that's part of how possibly some publishers or whoever's running it presents it. Maybe they get antagonistic. We're very open here for Off the Page Games. We're like, like, let's hear your thoughts. And we might not be able to accommodate all of them, but sometimes we can. And a case in point was was Asian shipping. It was out of whack, and they let us know that right away. And so I went and found better Asian prices. So that's great. So that was great that they spoke up, right? They spoke up and were like, yeah, you're right. That is out of whack. And that was first. And then this after that, there was, what was the next one? Well, there was possibly there was some more in between, but yeah, the 2-player. Some people were commenting that they like the deluxe, they like the wood, but the fact that it comes with a Fairfolk expansion, which can be used as a 3rd or a 4th player, they're like, I'm only ever going to play it as a 2-player, so it feels like a waste to get this Fairfolk expansion that comes packed in the box, which generally I think is actually super cool that it actually literally is packed in the box and fits in the box. It's not a separate unit. Like, to me, that's like great space saving.
Not an easy thing to do.
No, in this very tight box, yes.
Yeah.
And they said, so I'm not going to get it. And so Chad and I one night early on in the campaign just kind of had a brainstorm meeting, and we're like, is there anything we could do? Like, is that just as a brainstorm, maybe for some other day, but can we do anything? And we thought maybe Fairfolk, what if Fairfolk could play against Hester as a 2-player game? And then we thought, because Hester kind of has her puzzle and the Fairfolk have their puzzle, but will they ever interact because they're both doing their own puzzle? Is it just multiplayer solitaire? And so we're like, let's try it, and we'll move some pieces around. And we tried it, and Hester plays her solo game. So she does all the solo stuff, and which makes it sound like multiplayer solitaire because she's literally playing the solo game.
No, but it is not. Yeah, it is very interactive.
And because each of the 2 players get to interact with the family and the protector units that are on the board, they don't control them, but due to the automata, they get some choices about which way they go and whatnot. There's a few choices that they get to make. And because of that, they get to position them in spots that benefit them more than their opponent. And that's where the interaction comes in. And all of a sudden, we're like, right off the bat, it was like, this is already interesting. We had challenges right off the bat with timing and order of phases. It wasn't working right. And so we had to play it a few more times to figure out, and we came up with this cool system of actually drawing tokens from a bag. So we had to add 4 tokens to the game.
That was a lucky, insight.
It was a lucky insight. It took us forever because we thought we first had tracks of whose turn is it? Whose turn is it to do this? And it was very messy, and we didn't like it. And then we finally came up with this bag idea. Like, you reach into a bag and you pull a token out, and you're like, that's whose turn it is right now. And you put it down, and that person has a turn. And it was perfect because the Fairfolk always get 2 turns to Hester's 1 turn. And then one of the players will be able to activate the solo card, the protectors and family. And that's kind of like a coin flip. One's on one side, one's on the other side. And it was like that added a whole new element to the gameplay that isn't in any other version of the game, which was super exciting to play as. I thought was it was a fluke. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, Joe play tested with us, was great. I couldn't believe that it was it worked so well. We do have to do a bit more play testing to kind of finalize the end game and just make sure it's balanced, but it's already really fun. So I was really surprised that it worked so easily for
component-wise. I think it's solid, and also we might need to vary the number of cards or something like that. And I mean, I think it was incredible to me because I remember Jay. I don't remember when that happened in the campaign, but the campaign has been a wild, amazing ride. And I remember Jay saying, "Hey, can we make a 2-player version?" I was like, "Jay, we can't do it." And then we got together. We can definitely do this. And it was just that's how I gotta give Jay another compliment, because that's definitely something I've noticed with him. If I ever feel pessimistic, I'm definitely gonna be wrong. So that's always nice.
But I wanted to allay any fears of anybody that might think this is a pace it on or this is a rush job. We wouldn't have announced it. We wouldn't have added it if it wasn't up to our standards of awesomeness and excellence of And so after we played it, I don't know, however many times we play tested it, I was confident that this is going to meet our standards, and it's just going to add more value to people, especially those that do only play 2 players. They can play with Fairfolk and Hester because they never would have been able to play with Fairfolk otherwise. So it's wonderful.
And I think the reason we were able to do it is that they already play together. So most of the rules are already there. We just had to come up with something to spice it up almost. Yeah. Really, to replace the. Anyway, I'm so pleased with that. I couldn't believe we got something that was
That's pretty
that
cool.
met our standards. I didn't expect that, and we did it.
Tyler, what would you say is your favorite piece of art you worked on for this game? Is there something that you're like, oh, that was really fun to do?
I really like the cartoons they did for the newspaper.
Oh, nobody's
Oh,
seen
I
those
did
yet.
too.
Nobody's seen
One
those, but I'm dying for
Nice.
people to see those. I mean,
Yes.
there's just 2 of them,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty
Oh,
happy.
they're okay.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
They're really good. So yeah, people don't really understand or know much about this newspaper idea yet. So Tyler, you were part of that original brainstorm. Why don't you walk us through like how we got to a newspaper?
Well, a lot of it was inspired by Mark Tweedale's thing, where he had on multiversity.com. He's done a lot of Harrow County stuff, and he actually had like an ongoing article or whatever you call it that was called the Harrow County Observer. And so when we were sort of thinking of stuff we could add to the game to talk about stuff to add flavor and story to the game, we were like, hey, we should have a newspaper like the Harrow County Observer and have some articles from Harrow County about what's going on at the time. And I think there's even a little bit of talk about trying to like work the rule book into it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I think that got to be a little bit
that.
too, like, would have made the rule book a little bit too unwieldy to try to make it a newspaper also. And so yeah, so that was sort of the basis of it.
Yeah, we wanted. I remember like in the Mind Management game, it comes with all these little mini comics that Matt Kint did, which is really cool. And I think that adds to the world building and immerses you into the game more and helps give context to connect both the comic book world and the game in a better way. And I just didn't want to do like, oh, here's a little free comic or something. I didn't want to do that with this one. But so that's where the brainstorm started. What can we do to help build the world? And then we quickly came up with this newspaper idea, and then we started brainstorming ideas, and Cullen's doing a lot of the writing for it, and we're leveraging some of the art from the comic book for some of the pictures as if it's from the newspaper, and then Tyler did some new comic art, like comics as in like comics that would be newspaper comic strips that are appropriate to that era, which that's what I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
And you said one of them was hard. You said one of them was actually hard to get.
Yeah, because I was sort of like trying to mimic a classic cartoonist art style, and
right.
It was one of those things. Where it's like usually, when I'm doing like a page for Harrow County, I can like ink and paint a whole page in a day, and it took me like a long day to do like just 4-panel strip, just trying to make it look right, like this other guy's art style. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say who. But... I
know, right? Yeah, it's true.
But
awesome.
Did we hit the goal for given the comics?
It wasn't even a goal. It was like immediate. Anybody who gets the Satchel edition gets the 2 omnibuses and all 4 issues of the Fairfolk miniseries is as a digital download. That's part of the Satchel pledge.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. It's so great. That's if you were to get that yourself, that's a $24 value right there, US dollars from downloading from darkhorse.com. So it's amazing. It's just great that we were able to add that value to the Satchel edition. It's cool. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to people, playing the game and being curious to check out the book. I'm really proud of the book. Like I don't want to sound too like full of myself, but I'm really proud of that. I think we did a good job on that.
Yep, agreed.
I hope people read it and like it.
And Joe, oh, there he's back. And Joe, so you've been, as you mentioned, you've been playtesting Harrow County for a while. Do you remember any? And I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you remember any like change that you were like, that was a really good change during the playtesting process of like, oh man, when we did change this was really cool, or what so much better from during the whole process, because you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I remember at first we were placing the buildings and the townsfolk in very static positions, these 3 hexes all the time.
Just like chapter 1, for example.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it meant, so while we were still making, those crunchy decisions and everything, we were very much funneled, okay, I'm going to go left, okay, Jay's going to go right, or, whatever. So it was very formulaic, I guess.
Yeah.
But once we changed it to where each side places, this round I'm going to place building on a forest hex, and it could be over here, it could be over here, or wherever. That really added to the variability, and plus kind of little puzzly of, okay, if I put a hint here, that's going to force them to put this building here, which is going to be closer to me, which is going to be great. So just added to the tactics of it all.
That's true. And then Shad, I don't know if you can talk to the epiphany we had about what is October, about 10 months ago, if you recall, where the game was a certain way. Then we had a very specific playtest where we had been playing 2 players a lot. We did Hester a few times, and that was working. And then we decided to add the Fairfolk in to try a 4-player game. And it was slow. It was so slow.
That. Yeah.
Can you walk us through the humongous change we made at that point and how it improved the game?
Well, you got to tell me if I'm wrong at the beginning. Okay.
It's the mason jars.
That was what I was going to say. Okay, good. And it's funny because I was thinking as you asked Joe, I was like, I would have said the mason jars. And I do like Joe's answer. I wasn't thinking of that. I thought Joe's answer was great because that was a huge change. That's one of my favorite differences between chapters 1 and 2 and with 3. Like, once you get that, I think the game is really way more
dynamic.
So much novelty, so much cool novelty, challenge, curated challenge based on your opponent and stuff. But yeah, the mason jars, I was just thinking about that because I was watching a couple of reviews and stuff, and that choice system, it's so funny to think about. That just used to be your turn. You could do all that stuff on your turn. You have wild
everything.
You've got cards, you can play them, you can draw from you're going to draw from your bag, and you're going to do everything. And it was so funny
much.
Because as a 2-player, it didn't feel like it was slower, but it didn't feel insane. And I remember when we were talking about it, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work anymore. And we were kind of
we liked the benefit of being able to play wild tokens on your turn. Like I could take my move action, but I'm also going to do my wilds, and I'm also going to activate my legend ability, and I'm also like, you did all these things. Then I'm going to attack. It was so much.
It was so important to the protectors, right? Because I think anybody who's played knows that balance between the family's bag and the protector's board is so tight, like that. And I was really worried that the protectors wouldn't be able to work without their wild tokens, but actually the wild mason jar is probably my favorite change to the core actions that we did because of the mason jar.
That's true. I like it.
Yeah, because it's like I'm sure I haven't played too many games that have something like that, and I think it's a nice. It's a great. Every time I play, I think, am I gonna get? I love wild, so I pretty much always build up the wild. But if you focus on the other ones, I've seen Jay do so many crazy things with the protector board. And anyway. Yeah, that's hilarious. You brought that up because I was just sitting here thinking about that, and in any space I had.
That's awesome. And Sebastian, what would you say has been the biggest challenge of coming to work for me and Off the Page Games and coming into a project that's like, done, but there's still so much more work to do? What was the biggest challenge? Was it adapting the style? Was it just how indecisive I was?
That's not all Jay's fault.
Yeah, that will be my pick. I actually love the style of the game. Love the Tyler's art. So it was really easy to come to the design because I already love it. It's hard to get the iconography. The game is so complex. It has so much combination. They have the right iconography for everything. Has been the biggest challenge. Even when gameplay didn't change, we did a lot of versions of a lot of icons to be sure that people get the right meaning at the first look. So I still feel that I don't get the games so perfect like Shay does to understand the icons, but I know his review over and over of that has spoiled the work so much.
Yeah, I remember we had like even something as simple as the scoreboard where you put the townsfolk and the buildings off to the side on the different terrains.
Right.
Originally, they were shaped as a part of a hexagon, but because it was zoomed in and then layered, they all looked like arrows pointing down. And so
Yeah.
we printed it, we did the I took it to places to demo, and a couple people thought that implied you had to start at the top and move downwards because it looked like arrows. I'm like, oh wow, you're right. That is wild. And so that was one of the things you had to do is like we got to change that. And so we just changed them to squares. It was kind of cool because it was looked like the hexagons, but yeah, it implied movement or direction. And so it's just small things like that we just kind of are trying to figure out how do we best figure out how to communicate and make the rules more intuitive. And even since we made the samples and sent them out to reviewers, even since then, we've still continued to add some few things. Like, for example, on the battleground, we added a little reminder of that, hey, it costs 2 to kill a unit, 2 cubes to kill a unit, and 1 if they're on the brambles. And that's before, for this people that played the sample, like the reviewers, that's not printed anywhere. You just have to know it. You just have to remember it. And so this is just an awesome reminder. We're trying to get rid of things you have to remember. You know, like, what was that rule again? Another one was, you can't put a storm on the brambles. Like, oh, right. It's just a thing that someone has to catch you. Like, oh, right. And so now we've added an icon right on every bramble saying no storm and no townsfolk right on the brambles as a reminder. Like, oh, obviously you can't do that. So there's a whole bunch of examples like that where we're just trying to add reminders and make things more intuitive. We've got player aids, which weren't really highlighted too much in this campaign. We put it in one of the updates if you're interested in going to find it. But there are player aids for this game that are unique to, at least for the warring factions are the same player aid, but then Hester has her own player aids, and we're going to make a Fairfolk player aid as well. So that's helps you make sense of everything a lot faster and easier, so you don't have to go back in the rules. Even on our faction boards of what you start with, we didn't want players to go in the rules like how many tokens do I start with, how many wild, like, so now there's a little reminder on the bottom of the player boards, the faction boards, of like, oh, you get this many wild tokens, you get this many haints, and how many tokens the family starts with in their bag is printed on their faction board, because again, otherwise you'd have to be like, I don't know, I'd have to look in the rule book, I haven't played it in 2 months. So now it's everything. That's the kind of thing we're trying to, and I think we still have a little bit ways to go. I think Shad and I are going to sit down and go through as much as possible where else can we clean it up? Not change any rules, just clean it up from what can graphic design help us anymore to make things a bit more clear and smooth, and just make it so you don't question it and have to go, I don't know, check the rules. We want to get rid of that. And some of it's going to be even how we word the cards, wording on the cards in a lot of the playthroughs. We're like, we've already changed a lot since that. And so to help clear it up for a lot of people.
And I gotta say,
a
huge difference. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was saying that something that people will hardly know is, even when you see changes in some component and stuff like that, it's not about the gameplay really, because gameplay is already solid and done. But a lot of the changes are the insane amount of time in polishing shape puts into it.
Yeah,
that's right.
I work in so many games that don't take that time.
Yeah.
With stuff like this, it is always like that last 10% takes twice as long as you would imagine.
Yeah.
It's the exact same in making video games.
Exactly.
I was doing that.
Yeah.
It's like that last little 10% of polish takes so long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it makes, I think it really does, like, and Jay and I, that's another thing I love about working with Jay, like you guys are saying, is that, he and I, we just talk about this game all the time, and we have been for years. And that's why when it's like, I'm not making this up. Every single game I play has been, I cannot remember one that was not close between 2 or 3 decisions, which is insane to me. And I don't even, like, we've worked on it to the point where I'm not trying to brag about that. That was work to do that, and that's what we're doing. And seeing the iconography change. I mean, I remember when they were hexes, I probably had 2 or 3 people talk to me about that, get confused about why it was a hex. And it wasn't something I thought a lot about other than, oh, yeah, we should do something about that. As soon as it changed, never came up again. And that's same with the icons on the brambles. And it's just, it makes such a big...
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact...
I think.
Yeah, sorry. Just to go to some of the comments, Swab actually brought that up. The Bramble Reminder is going to be such a useful tool for the players. And actually, Colin checked in. He says, "Hey, folks, sorry I couldn't join. Tried, but I'm out in the wilds, out in the holler."
He's in the brambles.
Right. And Tyler, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to pronounce it Matt Crook.
Mott.
Mott. Sorry, my apologies. They say you're here as a haint in the machine. to Colin. And then Tomer, Shad deserves a group hug. I don't know about that one. But,
I don't know how much I want to like really put hands on Shad, but
just a little blood.
We could all do a virtual high five right now because we just hit 220.
Woo! Oh, I left blood on my camera.
Oh man! So we just unlocked the storm. So I'm gonna update that. So you guys talk to yourselves for a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Dang, that's amazing. Okay. Like, I did not know what to expect. I mean, I have not really had anything to do with the Kickstarter. That's just been all you guys doing all this hard work. And I did not know what to expect, but I did not expect it to. What is this? Is this quadruple funded now?
Yeah,
close, very, very, very close.
Very close, yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting close to 3,000. No, is that right?
27.
Kind of close.
Pretty close, yeah.
That's amazing.
Because
this is not like a small ticket item, you know. This is like, asking for, you know, how much we're asking for a game is not nothing.
Yeah.
So seeing this amount of support is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a testament to the comic that you and Colin created. I mean, to what Jay and Sen did with mind management, that people know you guys are for quality, for good stuff, you know, good stories, good art, exciting gameplay, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it was really interesting going to Gen Con because that's when it hit me what we were getting into. You know, and how, because everybody would come up and they either said, "Wow, the art is amazing," which I wish I could have just recorded everybody saying that when they did. Like,
me too, actually.
Yeah, I know, because it just feels so good. I just like, here, Tyler, listen to this. You already need to cheer up. But like, and just the games, like people who had not read the comic but wanted to play the game, they'd like the game, and then they'd want to go read the game. It was just kind of wondrous, you know. And then like and the team, everybody on the team is working so hard, and it's amazing. So all
those tabletop games, simulator games that you were playing, Shad, those seem to be a big hit.
That was so much fun. Like I would do that. I think I probably, like, I kept telling everyone, I'll play with you again if you want. They're like, do you have friends? I do have some friends, a couple that I also play with, but I love that. Like, you guys want to play in the community. It was a blast. And, you know, my favorite was the Halloween stuff, just because I like getting into the spirit of the game and just kind of messing around. And
you do? Really?
Do I? Am I a big skinless ham? And Joe said, we got to play. I'm like, yeah, we do. I don't know why we haven't, actually.
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay. You're gonna beat me. I was surprised I won any of the games, but I guess it helped that I'm
Yeah, well, because you were doing the solo mode for a while, weren't you? Kind of tweaking that and testing that.
I went hard on the solo. Like at one point, and it was really great. It was a great challenge because, you know, talking about how I met Jay, you know, it was nice that he was kind of like, okay, go do solo, and I'm going to work on Fairfolk, and we'll come back together and make it all happen and stuff. So, but it was just a total obsession of mine for a while playing solo. I would sneak in like time to play, and my wife would be like, "What are you doing?" Oh, nothing. You know. So and it was cool because I'm really passionate about bringing the comic characters to life. I mean, my level of commitment probably quadrupled after we decided to go this route, and you know, and after I met Tyler and Cullen, and I think playing the solo, I started to really like get into this weird, this fun but weird like Hester mindset of like, yeah, I'm gonna infect that, you know, like here comes the snake, you know. So it was pretty cool. That made me really happy that it got that, like, just kind of come up from under the ground. And
Tyler, what's it like having like you spent like, what was it, 4 years of your life? 5, 3, 5? How many years of your life?
I think it was like 3.5, maybe
3.5 years
almost 4
of your life on this, and that as your sole comic, because it takes so much to create a comic painted. Every panel painted like that. Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
What, like, we had to ask you before about what it was initially about, you know, when we pitched you the game, but like now that you see it all, like you see all the pieces, you see people reviewing it, and like how it's, I don't know, is it exciting? Is it like overwhelming? Is it like, what are your thoughts of like your this baby that was 3.5 years of your life is now in a different medium and taking a new shape and new customers?
That's I don't know. I don't know what it's like. It's like, yeah, it's very exciting. It's very like, it's so hard to sort of like even come up for air though. I mean, because we've been working on, like, we've used so much artwork from the comic books that was already done. And even still, we've been working on this together for the last year. Like,
it takes so long.
So
long.
New artwork and stuff. And so it's really hard to sort of, step back and think about it. I think I've been sort of waiting until I get, my copy to hold in my hands to really sort of, like, let it soak in.
Right. Was there any element of the game of this process where you were like, this is your baby and you were nervous, like that we were gonna F it up or something?
No, not really. I mean, like, I'm not a big board game player, so I've had to like really trust you guys on a lot of like when you're describing the board, like the gameplay and stuff.
And it's like going right over your head.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of that stuff that I'm sort of like, wow, it sure sounds fun, I guess.
Could have fooled me when we played though.
Yeah, but I know like my wife really likes board games, so when I've told her like they're saying that it's gonna do this, they're like, hey, this is great, I'm into this. Like, so I haven't been that worried about it. And you guys have like really have like a lot of love for the game and a lot of respect for the comics, and that has come through in every interaction we've had.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, no, I haven't been that worried really. To tell you the truth.
Joe, any questions?
What's kind of blowing my mind right now that's really amazing is just like what like an amazing golden era we live in, where like not only can you kickstart a game like this, but like, I'm in Oregon, Jay, you're in Vancouver,
right? Yeah.
Where's Joe at?
Near Baltimore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And Shad, like, it doesn't even come up. It doesn't even matter that you're in Baltimore.
Right.
And then Argentina for Sebastian.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
and Alexandra's, is she in Croatia?
Netherlands? Croatia, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's just amazing to me that, like,
what a world,
we
right?
can all work on this game together like this. And, and then everyone across the world can support the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And,
I'm working on address changes and things like that for mind management. It's just amazing how many people all over, I mean, France, UK, of course, all over Asia, a couple of African games going that way. So really cool to see that you guys, that Matt, that you and Colin, the comics have spread, Yeah,
the comics are available in, I think, 11 different languages.
Wow.
And that's a good segue to this, and then Joe will get into some more comments from the viewers. I partnered with Lucky Duck Games to do all my localization for this game. So they have so many publisher partners in all sorts of countries around the world. that from all their games that they started this service up that they only allow 1 or 2 publishers per year to be part of this program, and I was chosen to be one of them, which is an honor. And so
great.
they have been shopping my game to all their partners, and they've got about 14 interested parties so far, and some of them are for the same language, so they're going to have to duke it out, I think. And but there is I get nothing signed, so I can't say who what language or anything like that. But there is a likelihood that there'll be many language versions of this game as well.
Yeah, that let me. I'm gonna see if I can share this. Will this go on? No, it won't. It's too reflective.
Oh darn.
This was from Brazil. Someone doing a Hester Beck cosplay.
Wow.
What?
I can barely see. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch
Yeah, it's a
that.
little blurry. If you check out like my Instagram,
Oh,
you
great.
can see it in my stories.
Okay.
I just can't see it because of the costume. Sorry.
The costume without the glasses is somehow way more upsetting.
Is it?
With the
Is
glasses.
is this how I should go?
I don't know how you should go.
Without-
I really don't.
Please stop, Chad. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Joe, go ahead, Joe.
Sure. We got Tomer. This is to Tyler. He heard the soundtrack on Bandcamp. You did an amazing piece of work there.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And then Swab. I've never seen another publisher take. Yeah, I still haven't heard it yet. I got to work on that.
Yeah, it's on Spotify and stuff too, so you can pick it up there if you want.
Okay, cool. Swab says, I've never seen another publisher take so much time to play on Tabletop Simulator with the community, which is, I think, a big part of why so many people want to support Off the Page. And then kind of
thanks to Shad for a lot of that. He organized all that. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
That was
and also to that point, Tomer says again, true that, and how amazing themes, so well orchestrated with suitable mechanics, just delicious. And I got to agree, it really feels like you're playing as Levi, that you're playing as, of course that's Mildred's ability, of course that's Corbin's. Kane can what was it, the nightmare?
Nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Jack comes in. Many games have hype. Few publishers inspire people to engage and play like Off the Page, which I definitely have to agree, or else I wouldn't be here. Let's see. Tomer again. Hola desde Argentina. Sorry for my pronunciation there. That was probably terrible. Jack again. Azi, oi, oi, oi. And and Tomer again. Every time Shad removes his glasses, he I don't know what I can say. He
Craps his pants.
Craps his pants.
Ah!
Oh man.
Everyone lost. Okay. I lost it. I don't know.
And so around this time, people start asking me, "Oh, what's next for Off the Page games?"
Yeah.
And while I'm not going to be telling anybody for a while, I will say that we have a contract signed for our next game. So we do have a contract signed. And what's interesting is that for the first time for me publishing, at least, will be, I've only got 2 games published. I'm not designing it. So
What?
yeah, so Sen, who co-designed Mind Management, and one of his other design partners, Alara, they designed this game together. And so it's really cool and exciting new world for me to be like, they actually had to pitch it to me, which I find for me, having been a game designer for 15 years and pitching and going to conventions and like just, being the salesperson, like, hey, can I show you this game? Let me working hard at it, right? Pitching and chilling and all this stuff. And it was really a treat to like sit down and be like, all right, pitch me. What do you got? What's going on?
Can I ask, is it based off of a comic book made by people I know?
Oh, yes, absolutely. 100%. And I will even go one further hint that the one that's signed is another Dark Horse property.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's bonkers awesome. It's crazy cool. And then I currently have a contract out. We've negotiated and talked, and we agreed we just literally have to both sign it. So assuming we both sign it, we'll have the 4th game ready to go. And the gameplay for that one is amazing. It's so bonkers different than anything I've ever seen in a game. I cannot wait for that one to come out as well. So I've got Yeah, and even the third one, the gameplay for that is also bonkers cool. Another hint is that it's asymmetric as well. That seems to be a little bit like I think when you base a game based off an IP, especially I think any IP, it almost is going to have to be asymmetric to a certain degree because it's hard to find an IP where everybody's got the same objective. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So any kind of comic or story or even movie or whatever, it's going to be hard. So it's definitely another asymmetric game, which I love, and I think a lot of people enjoy the kind of asymmetry in game design, whether it's one versus many like my management or this Harrow County where it's like everyone's got a different thing going on. It's wild how when we pitched it to Tyler and Cullen, it was pretty much a symmetric game. Like it had like you had your own faction of like I'm skeletons and your orcs. I can't remember what we had.
Harpies and orcs. I was just reading through all this afternoon.
Right? And they had like +1 this, and you get like, but otherwise 100% symmetrical. To as soon as we got the Harrow County IP, we all of a sudden like we started just going down this path of like it can't be because this faction wants this faction wants that, and it just became more and more asymmetric, which was wonderful.
Yes. And then they're the fair folk.
And then maybe, if this does well, it did well here. It's done amazing on Kickstarter. But if it's, once it comes out, if it actually gets, we all know that I sent games to previewers. I have to pay previewers to preview it. They don't have to give their opinion. So when they do give their opinion, I think that's really nice and awesome. But it's still tainted with a bit of like, you paid them. And so they're going to say maybe something nice. I don't know. But the truth will hit the fan. The truth will hit the fan when...
Truth will out.
When the game comes out and we get actual reviews. So if the game does well and is reviewed well and does sales well and we get another print run and all this kind of stuff, Shad and I have already been kind of like poking at expansion-y ideas because the world is so big in Harrow County. There's so many more things that we can do, and we have some really cool ideas that we're excited about.
And I will say one review that happened during the campaign. I mean, there were a bunch that were really good, but the Dice Tower one, I remembered meeting with those guys and demoing the game with them. I had no idea. I should be ashamed to say I had no idea who they were. And the fact that they came out with that opinion was just like, that just made my day for sure.
Yeah, it's great. And then this is, self-promotion time, I guess. I don't know. We got 9 minutes left. Right after this campaign's over, not right after, but in a week, maybe, I'm launching. Fail Faster is my other brand that I have as a company. If some of you might know that if you're in the game design world, I designed this Fail Faster journal a while ago. This was my first Kickstarter I ever did. It's like a journal that helps you take the notes you need to take as a game designer to when you're playtesting your games, and it kind of guides you through it. And of course, me being me, I gamified the whole process. So you actually like earn stickers and unlock badges, and they go on your front cover as you unlock badges and stuff like that.
I like the dice on the pages a lot too.
It's so cool. So I really like that product. That's still available to sell. But with that brand, I'm launching a Fail Faster online board game design program. And so it's been in the beta phase for the last 3 months. We've had people going through it. We've got some testimonials, and we're going to be launching that, I think, November 4th. And so that's going to be for those that want to get into game design. You can learn it from me. I've been teaching it for 10 years at Vancouver Film School. And I'm taking a lot of what I've learned and from the real world of game design and from teaching game design and going to offer it to more people. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. Anybody else have anything they want to plug or shill? Tyler, you must have something you want to plug or something lonesome.
The book I'm working on right now is called The Lonesome Hunters.
Yeah.
It's like this. The 4th issue just came out a couple weeks ago.
Like
and I'm nice. So I'm working on the 2nd story arc for that right now.
Has it been approved? Is it a green light?
Yeah, it's all contracted. I'm in production.
Oh.
I'm penciling pages today.
Is that new? Did we know that was that new for me to know that? Or were you always knew it was going to be more than 4 issues?
Well, that was always my plan. I don't know what the publisher's plan was, but we got it approved and stuff a while back, probably like at least 2 months ago.
Awesome! Congrats, man. That's wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going well.
That's great. Sebastian, I know you've had. Is there anything else you want to plug from other people you work with? Because I know you're full time with me now, but is there anything else that you've been dabbling with or like helping other games?
I always work in small games. Right now in Kickstarter, you have the Boglings game. I think that's the campaign that's live right now.
Boglings? Is that what you said? Boglings?
Yeah. It's yeah. It was an IP I didn't knew from the 80s in USA, but
Cool.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
never knew it before.
Oh, that's great. Oh, great. Joe, do you have anything? What's your day job, Joe?
I work for an aviation safety company, writing manuals to different regulations and that kind of thing. So I have been poring over the rule book a little bit.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, no, it's just whenever we're going to be playtesting next.
That's what you're going to be doing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's great. Shad, tell us a bit about where you work. It's pretty wild. It's pretty different.
Yeah, it's. I just started last March. I love working there. And actually, my boss's boss, the day we launched the Kickstarter, he posted in our Slack that he got the Satchel Edition. Everybody should go get it. I was like, wow, hey, Dave. He's really cool. I really love the team there is fantastic, and it's a really cool purpose. I work at Axon, and I know so they make body cameras, they make tasers, and their whole I didn't realize this about them as a company, but their whole mission is to reduce lethality and lethal interactions. And what I do is I'm the lead narrative systems designer there for their VR team. And I work on trainings to help the police both use de-escalation techniques is the buzzword, but basically I work really hard on conversational systems. So there's a lot of neat AI stuff, and there's a lot of design choices there. And they also have me doing a bunch of game design work because they know I'll do it. so that's pretty fun. And then I don't know I definitely want to keep polishing Harrow County. I want to go. I'm always working on a writing project, just because it's so an outlet. And then and I recently actually started my own single proprietorship game design consulting thing that I've been doing. So that's been fun. But it's not something, there's this game design community I participate in, Machinations. It's like a systems design tool. It's awesome. That does a really good job visualizing weird parts of game design, like Petri nets and stuff like that. So a lot of times people will reach out to me because I'm in that community to do game system charts for them. It's not something that I don't advertise. People just come and it's great. But basically, if Jay says, "Hey, let's do this," and we have one other game, I still want to. We made another one at Gen Con, didn't we, Jay? So, but I know he's busy, so I'm ready to.
And we did publish this one together.
Yeah, we did Partners in Crime with Lucky Duck. Yeah, I think.
No, not Lucky Duck. Not Lucky Egg. Lucky Egg.
Lucky Egg. Chad. Sorry, Lucky Egg. They're awesome. They did a great job with that.
It's really cool graphic design. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
he's wearing the same glasses as you are.
Committing a crime, stealing my skin. But yeah, that's me. I don't know. I can't wait. Any project Jay wants me to work on with him.
We're in the last 2 minutes, and we're at 2:20. 2:26.
Maybe a few more comments.
Can we get one more backer to get up to 2,700? One more backer. 100 seconds. 100 seconds. One more backer. One more backer.
One more backer.
Let's see. Grizzly says, "Thanks for a fun campaign, guys." Absolutely, it's been great seeing some of the same faces come back and participate, ask questions.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised that every update I wrote, felt like it was packed with so much information, so much news and surprises and oh, now we get comics in the satchel. Oh, now we have this 2-player mode. Yeah. Oh, now we unlock solo. It felt like it was always announcing something cool every update. It was a very exciting campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Absolutely, yeah. Mark Tweedale comes in. Sorry I'm late. I foolishly got distracted by lunch. Physiological needs, man. You missed Tyler's shout out. Mark, you missed Tyler's shout out.
Yeah,
about,
he did shout
Harrow
out to you.
County.
Oh, looks like Tyler had to go.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come back.
Maybe.
He has the whole time. The last 2 minutes, he's like, I'm out.
Right, that Mark came here. And then lastly, Alexander says, awesome
40
campaign.
seconds.
Hyped. We got a new legend for Cammy. I am too. I'm glad we rounded that one out. There
Oh,
it is.
good. Hi, Tyler.
Yes. Yeah, we unlocked that last legend as well. We pretty much unlocked everything that we wanted. There's one offer that we didn't make it to, so that's about it. And the UV coating. That was just added late. That wasn't super planned. It was just like in case we got there. So we took that off, and so now I think the page is solid. This is the last minute. I don't think there's anything else that needs to come off. Oh,
5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Wow, this is so crazy.
Oh, we broke 2,700.
What?
Boom!
Where? What? Did we?
Wow, we got 2 extra.
2701.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Nice.
Magic.
It is, yes. Thanks, Tyler. You have
0 seconds to go.
a lot to do with
It's locked. Oh, there's fireworks.
What? Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Canadian is $298,000, $968. 2,701 backers. Wonderful job. Congrats to everybody here. Thank you so much for everybody here, plus all the other people that couldn't make it to this live stream. I'm going to forget somebody, but Alexander we talked about. We also had Daniel Cunningham did all of our insert design and the cube tower design, which was amazing. And we had Ori Kagan and Kagan Productions do that amazing video. If you ever look for a video, I mean, like to me, I mean, part of it's the writing because we wrote it together to make sure that I only liked personally 20 seconds maximum of like story and theme, and then tell me how the game plays, which I think we accomplished amazingly with the video, the kickoff video. And then Gino's my accounting guy. He did all the accounting and my bookkeeping and stuff, which is very helpful for me. It allows me to do more of the game stuff, having someone look after that, which is wonderful. And was there anybody else I'm forgetting? Part of the team? I think.
I have to work and I can't see the page.
Yeah, if I had to scroll down to my team, Dina, my social media manager. She's managing all my social media posts. Another thing that's just hard to stay on top of. So it's great. So that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Wonderful time. And now let's all have a 10-hour sleep.
Yeah, good.
Tomer, last one. Tomer, be right back. Got to go change my diaper, Pete, for the excitement of the campaign crap because of Shad again. So,
Cheers, everybody.
I think the costume was a hit.
I'm glad the community had the idea. I never would have pulled it off. And now I can't get it off. I'm trying to get it.
Well, it's not off. You have to put your skin back on. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I was thinking. One sec. Gotta pull it out of this satchel. Okay,
Awesome. I'm about to send an update out to everyone with the next steps. So if you're curious, I'm going to lay out all the next steps of what to expect next with regards to Pledge Manager and whatnot. But your credit card should be being charged right now from Kickstarter, and there's a 2-week period of if there's errors or issues, whatever, you have to fix that with Kickstarter. And then after that, we open a late Pledge Manager, and we still are months and months away from where we're going, but it'll be in the update. That's it for me, everybody. Unless anybody has any last comments or words or thoughts.
Nope. Thank you, everyone.
No.
yeah.
Thanks for everyone who made the game. Thanks for everyone who supported.
Thanks
the game.
everyone who support the game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the comics.
Yeah.
I would have done it regardless.
I'm gonna read them again to celebrate. Honestly, I've got them open right here.